So this video is for every golfer out there. We all have to do them, and that is the fundamentals. If we don't get them right, we're going to set ourselves up for a little bit of failure. So whether you're a scratch handicapper, an absolutely new beginner, sit back. We've got 5 fundamentals for you that I want you to go through, and if we can get them right, you're going to see that you're getting better golf. Couple of things that we might need just to help you on your way to get better fundamentals as well. You're going to need a marker pen. Show you for that in a moment. Going to need a couple of alignment aids, whether it's 2 alignment canes, shafts, 2 golf clubs will work, but if you've got those things, this is going to help this video, or you practice this video a lot better. Also, your mobile phone or a mirror will work really well when we get into the posture segment and the alignment segment as well. But first things first, every golfer, regardless of whether they're on the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, just starting out, playing regular at the weekend, we all have to grip the golf club. And as a golf coach, I see many weird and wonderful golf grips, but a couple of things, if we can get the grip right, it has a huge influence on our club face, and if we've not got it correct at the start, we're going to see that we're maybe turning it closed, getting it open, and it's not going to help us hit the best shots we want. So first things first, when we're looking at our grip, one thing that I want to talk to you about is positioning in the lead hand, because a lot of people would tend to struggle with this to start with, because when I actually address a golf ball, if I put one in here, and I just put my club down how it's meant to lay, and then I just put my hand onto the golf club, it doesn't actually sit into the position where I need it. What we can see here now is that that grip is running more up the middle of my hand, almost up my forearm, and then my fingertips would be pinching onto the grip there. So that's going to limit my leverage. It's also not going to help me get the rotation I want of the club face, and altogether it's just going to make it a little bit harder for me. So what I want you to do, if you're not too precious about drawing on your gloves, what we don't want to see is what I've got going on here a little bit, is too much of this where we're getting wear or even holes in your glove there. Shows that you're getting it too much this way through your palm as we're going through it. When we're starting our grip now, what I want us to do, we're going to put a little reminder that runs from the base of our little finger into the middle of our index finger, just like so. So then when we start our grips, what we're able to do then, as I take my grip now with my lead hand, I'm going to take my right hand on the steel and the rubber here, then I'm going to place my lead hand, so I'm a left hand as a right-handed golfer, and I'm actually going to put it into that little line there. From here then, I'm going to wrap it on and get the club actually sat a little bit more running through the lifeline of my hand, as opposed to up this line and getting all those holes in the glove. So not only will this tip help you actually get a better grip, it'll save you a few pounds, because you won't be buying a new golf glove every week because you've got a hole in it. So into the fingers, then we see that the lead hand would wrap over here a little bit more, and as we're doing it, we would hear the old adage of like 2 knuckles as we're going through. One of the things that I love to do with my students, if we've got this right at the start and we've got the heel of the hand, or that fleshy part, padded part, sat on top, what we should be able to do with a good grip is this, where I can let all my fingers go, I can see it's in that trigger finger, and now it's sat more onto that padded part, and it's on from there back into my fingers, and I've got it in a good position. From there then, whether you're an interlocker, an overlapper, baseball grip, whatever it may be, just make sure that they're tucked tight together, and as we do it, we're not getting too strong or too weak. Let's try and get pretty neutral. But one big thing, make sure you get that lead hand right to start off with. From there then, how are we actually going to stand to the golf ball? One of the old things that we always used to hear was, just imagine you sitting on the toilet when you play a golf shot. Now, I know what I look like when I sit on the toilet, and if I was going to play golf like that, I don't think it would be very good. What we need to try and make sure that we do is give ourselves the most athletic posture we can. Despite our levels of flexibility, we're all able to stop just sagging down to the golf ball. That's the most common thing I see, is we come here, instead of actually bending from the pelvis, it's underestimated how much I actually need to tilt here. We see a lot of this happening, where everything just goes down, I look slumped, I almost look a lot older, and I don't look very athletic. What I want you to get used to doing, if you take your club, put your hands at shoulder width apart and then place it across your belt. I want you to now imagine that you stood nice and tall, open your shoulders up. From here then, we're going to imagine bowing to the golf ball. So as I do that, I feel my legs lock up a little bit here. They might get a little bit tense behind my kneecaps, but what we can see here is now that I've got a little bit of angle in this pelvis. I've not kept it the same and sat down to it. I've bowed to the golf ball over the club, and from there then I can just soften my knees, let my arms hang, and from then, if I'm the appropriate distance, I'm looking far more athletic as opposed to me thinking I'm sat on the toilet as I go through it. So real simple, shoulder width apart, feet at the appropriate distance for the club you're using, bow to the golf ball, feel that little stretch in the legs, then just soften them, arms hang, and we're in a nice athletic posture as we stand to it. From there then, how do we aim? Because this is one where we could be making beautiful golf swings, you could be swinging the golf club so well, but unfortunately you're aiming in totally the wrong direction and you're looking at something in your golf swing when really all you need to do is aim a few more yards to the left. What we've got to understand is that we've got two things that we've got to align. Firstly, the most important one, we've got to aim our club face. So whenever you're faced with a golf shot, that would be where our ball is and then to our target, so our ball to target line. For me at the moment, as we look out onto the range, I'm going to head over one of the targets just in front of us here, this white flag down on the ground. So as I would do that, I would stand behind my golf ball, draw a line down from the white flag towards my ball, and what it actually does here is gives me an intermediate target, and that is just the yellow tape here. And what I would have here, just outside that, I would have my ball to target alignment. From there then, this is where people get it wrong. We've got our body alignment. Where should our body be aimed as we actually come to hit a golf shot? Well, what we would see most commonly when people get it wrong is that as they come through it, they would then try and aim their body to the same target. So if I just did that, we can now see that those aren't running parallel. They don't look nice and square. What we've got to imagine, theory that I'll always stick with, is the train track. Depending if we were just trying to hit a straight shot, this isn't just trying to be square. What we want to imagine now, if we look at these two canes, they're nice and square, they're parallel. So we've got the ball to target line, then we've got our body line from here, and that's going to be parallel. So what that means, when I've got my white flag out here, we can maybe just see the blue flag out there. It's about 5 to 10 yards inside that target, running parallel to that ball to target line. From there then, my shoulders, my torso, my hips, my knees and my feet are nice and square as I stand to this golf ball. From the other camera angle, it doesn't look like I'm stood really off as I actually stand to it. So whenever you're aiming, don't aim your body at where you want your ball to go. It's going to be parallel just inside that as we go through. So ball to target line first with the golf club, then the body, seeing that little train track imaginary 2 lines as we aim it. From there then, we need to get the right weight distribution, because if we stand to it, what we would see, if we just wander around here ever so slightly, a lot of people, when they come to hit golf shots, think that the golf ball needs help getting up in the air. If we're using an iron, grooves on there, loft on there, the ball's going up. If we get a good strike on it, that ball is going up into the air. So what we don't want to be doing is what most people do, sit well behind it in an aid to try and help that golf ball up into the sky. We've actually got to do something a little bit counterproductive, as it would seem. We actually almost want to feel that we're hitting down on an iron to make it go up into the sky. So as we take our setup, let's say with a 7-iron or a mid-iron, that as I address it now, we think of pressure in the feet, I actually just want a tiny little bit more towards my lead side here. So what I would want to see as I go through it would be that as I get in here, I want to be about 55% towards my lead side. What I don't want to do, and a good way to think of it, is the zipper on my jacket. I don't want to have that really behind the golf ball here and trying to keep it behind to help the golf ball up in the air. I'm gonna hit the ground if I do that. So what I need to make sure is that it feels either just on top of the golf ball or slightly in front of it to help me get that downward strike and get the ball up in the air. From there then, where do we put the ball in our stance? Well, depends on what club we're using. If we're using a lower lofted club, i.e. a driver or something like that, the ball's going to be further up towards our lead foot. If I'm using a pitching wedge, a lob wedge, the ball's going to be more centered. So good rule of thumb that I like to work with is that if I had a few extra golf balls here, and we'll just do mid iron, long iron, driver and a short iron. If I had my short iron, I would have that in the middle. If I had my mid iron, it would be about one ball in front. If I had my long iron, we would see that that would be about 2 balls in front of the center. And then as I get up to my driver, that's going to be about 4 balls or 5 balls up there. So we could see from a pitching wedge all the way up to driver, that ball position is getting different as we go throughout it. So we've got short, mid, long, and then our woods as we get up to there. We've got to make sure that we've got it in the right position, because if I put something with very little loft into the back of my stance, I'm going to decrease the loft. If I put something with loads of loft up the front of my stance, I'm going to add even more loft, and then I'm not going to get my desired distance, my desired height, and ultimately not the shot I want. So 5 real key fundamentals that we can go through. If we can get all these right, what we should hopefully be able to do in a real simple and quick manner as well, if we do this, it'll literally take me 10 seconds to hit this shot now. Get the grip in the right place, come in, make sure I've got the right posture. I can see that I'm aligned nice and square. My ball position's in the right place. I can see my sternums just on top of the golf ball, and from there, what we get then is a real nice, easy, simple golf shot, all because I got my fundamentals right. I didn't even have to think about my golf swing then. I just thought about those things before I'm hitting the golf ball. Guys, go through that lesson. Like I say, it is for everybody. If you can get those things right, we're going to see that you are starting to hit better golf shots just because you've given yourself a fighting chance. Tick them off. It might be the grip you need, the posture, the ball position, whichever one it is, and share it around as well with someone who's struggling with this or just getting into the game. It's really going to help them. Thanks for watching. As always, do hit that subscribe button down below. I want you to get better at golf, and you're going to do that by joining me for free lessons here on the channel every week. Thanks for watching. See you next time.